Two sisters, one jealous lie, a suitor who was never human. When Urenma stole her sister's perfect fiancé, she didn't know his skin was just a mask, and his kingdom was a gilded cage for stolen brides. Now, only Akwaugo, the one with a pure heart, can save her. But the spirit king always claims his dues. In the bustling village of Akwaugo, where the rivers hummed and the trees shared secrets, lived two sisters, Akwaugo and Urenma. Akwaugo was kind and beautiful, with a skin like polished ebony and a smile that could calm a storm. Her mother had passed away when she was young, and her father, Dike, a wealthy merchant, had married Nneka, Urenma's mother. Akwaugo's mother, Adanna, was the kind of woman who made the sun jealous. Her laughter was like the first rain after a long drought, loud, free, and full of life. When she walked through the village, children ran to her, knowing her pockets always held candies, nuts, or small wooden toys she carved herself. Even the stubborn old palm trees seem to lean closer when she sings. But the brightest flames burn quickest. It happened during the Yam Festival. The village was alive with music. Drums pounded like eager hearts, and the air smelled of roasted meat and ripe mangoes. Adanna danced that day. Oh, how she danced! Her blue wrapper fluttered like a butterfly's wing as she spun, her beads clicking a joyful rhythm. Little Akwaugo, only 5 years old, clapped from her father's shoulders. "Again, Mama, again!" Adanna laughed, scooping her up. "When you are big, we will dance together till the moon goes to sleep." That was the last promise she ever made. At first, no one noticed. Adanna would turn away to cough, a dry whispering sound. Then one morning, her saliva carried streaks of red, like tiny dying flames. "It's nothing," she told Dike, wiping her mouth quickly. "Just the harmattan dust." But the cough grew thick. It irritated her lungs until she could no longer sing Akwaugo to sleep. And standing became very difficult as well. Mazi Okeke, the village healer, came with his big bag of herbs. His face turned to stone as he listened to Adanna's chest. Outside, under the twisted Odala tree, he told Dike the truth. "The sickness has roots deeper than I can reach." Dike, the strong merchant who fearlessly bargained with warriors, fell to his knees like a child. Adanna knew. She called Akwaugo to her mat one evening. The little girl brought her favorite doll, a rag doll with button eyes, made by her mother. "Tell me the story of the moon and the tortoise," Akwaugo begged. Adanna's voice was now a shadow of itself, but she told it anyways. How the tortoise tricked the moon into giving him light, only to fall back and crack his shell. "See?" she whispered, tapping Akwaugo's nose. "Even cleverness needs kindness. Remember that." She hugged her daughter extra tight that night. Akwaugo didn't understand why. The next morning, the birds did not sing. Dike's cry shattered the silence. Akwaugo found him hugging Adanna's still body, rocking back and forth like a broken boat on a shore. Adanna was buried according to their tradition, and her husband was left to look after her little one. Years later, Dike married Nneka. Nneka was a good woman. She loved Akwaugo as her own, and no one could tell she was not her true daughter. Urenma, however, was different. Though she was pretty, her heart was heavy with envy. She hated how everyone praised Akwaugo, how the birds seemed to sing sweeter when she passed, how the village boys left gifts at their doorstep for her. When Akwaugo turned 24, suitors came from far and wide, some on horseback, others with gifts of gold and rare spices. But not all who came were men. Some were spirits. They walked like men, spoke like men, but their eyes held secrets. One evening, a tall, handsome stranger named Ezeji arrived. His skin glowed like moonlight, and his voice was smooth like honey. He brought rare jewels and fine clothes, promising Akwaugo a life of luxury in his distant kingdom. Akwaugo was polite but unsure. Something about him made her skin prickle. Urenma, on the other side, was captivated. Why does Akwaugo get all the finest men? She thought bitterly. I deserve him more. That night, she sneaked out and whispered to Ezeji, "Take me instead. I am just as beautiful, just as worthy as my sister." Ezeji smiled, a slow, dangerous smile. "Very well then," he said. The next morning, Ezeji returned with a large box filled with gold, shells, and strange shimmering stones. "I have chosen Urenma," he announced. Nneka and Dike were surprised but pleased. Only Akwaugo felt a chill. "Sister, are you sure about this?" she asked. Urenma mocked her. "You are just jealous." The celebrations from Urenma's wedding has just ended when Ezeji came to take his bride. On the 7th night, as the village slept under a moon hidden by grey clouds, a line of silent people appeared from the forest. Their footsteps made no sound. Their lanterns burned with a cold blue light that gave off no warmth. Urenma stood at her doorway, still wearing her wedding clothes. Coral beads hung heavily around her neck, and golden threads in her wrapper shimmered in the faint light. She had dreamed of a joyful journey to her new home, but what she saw made her heart stop. The silent ones came first. Their faces were hidden behind black masks that stared straight at her. Then came the musicians, beating drums covered with strange skins and playing flutes carved from bones. Finally, Ezeji appeared. His face was still handsome, but shadows covered half of it, and his smile showed too many teeth. "Come, my wife," he said. His voice was sweet, like honey dripping over sharp glass. The walk to the dark river felt like a blur. Urenma's slippers sank into the ground, which seemed to throb like something alive. The trees whispered warnings in strange languages she did not understand. The air was thick, with the smell of wet metal and decaying flowers. They reached the edge of the dark river. The water was as still and as black as oil, reflecting nothing. A wedding boat waited for them, a strange thing made of bleached bones and stretched out skin. When Urenma stepped inside the boat, the water began to move. Hands, hundreds of bony hands, reached up from the water. Their finger bones tapping against the boat. Urenma screamed, but the river swallowed her voice. Ezeji just laughed and pulled her closer. All brides fear the crossing, he whispered in her ear, but only the false will sink. As the boat drifted away from the shore, Urenma made a terrible mistake. She looked back. The lights of the village were gone. The river behind them was smooth and calm, with no sign that they have ever passed. Ahead of them, the far shore came into view. The trees grew upside down, their roots clawing at the sky, which was dark and bruised like fresh wounds. Tall towers twisted like screaming mouths, frozen in stones. The beads around Urenma's neck felt like eyes. She realized too late this was not a kingdom. It was a prison for stolen brides, and she had walked right into it. Ezeji's home was grand, with walls that shimmered like water. But soon, things changed. The servants had no faces. The food turned to ash in her mouth. And Ezeji, his skin sometimes peeled away, revealing something dark and hollow beneath. "You are not my true bride," he hissed one night. "You stole what was meant for another. Now you will pay." Urenma wept, trapped in a world of shadows. One day, Nneka woke up screaming. Urenma was trapped in a dark place in her dream, crying for help. She ran to her husband, Dike, the rich merchant. "Our daughter is in danger," she cried. Dike called the village elders, then went to Agbala, the wise oracle. Agbala shook her gourd, and the bones inside clashed. "The man who took Urenma is no man," she said. "He is a spirit king from the land beyond the dark river. He wanted Akwaugo, but Urenma stole his offer. Now he punishes her." "How do we save her?" Dike begged. Agbala closed her eyes. "Only a maiden with a pure heart can enter his kingdom and bring her back." In the coming week, the search for the maiden with a pure heart began. Dike announced to the village, "Whoever saves my daughter will get bags of gold, fertile land, and my favor forever." Many brave girls came forward, warriors, hunters' daughters, even princesses from nearby villages. Agbala tested each one. Some were proud, some had lied or stolen before, and some have dubious minds. None of them were pure enough. Akwaugo watched, her heart heavy. She loved her sister despite everything. That night, Akwaugo dreamt of Urenma's tears. The next morning, she went to Agbala. "Let me try," she said. Agbala looked deep into her eyes and smiled. "You are the one." Agbala prepared Akwaugo for the journey. She was given 3 magic items: a golden bracelet for protection, a gourd of sacred water to reveal the truth, and a whispering feather to understand animal speech. "Beware of the dark river," Agbala warned. "Its waters test the heart." Akwaugo hugged her parents and stepped into the forbidden forest. With a magical charm from Agbala, Akwaugo crossed the dark river. The trees here whispers warnings. Strange eyes watched from the bushes. A giant frog blocked her path. "Answer my riddle or be eaten," it croaked. "What walks on 4 legs at dawn, 2 at noon, and 3 at dusk?" Akwaugo remembered old tales. Man as a baby, adult, and elder with a cane. The frog laughed. pass, pure one. Finally, Akwaugo arrived at Ezeji's palace. She found Urenma, but thin, trembling. Her beauty has faded. "Sister," Urenma cried, "I was wrong. He is a monster." Ezeji appeared, his form flickering between man and shadow. "You dare come here, true bride?" Akwaugo stood tall. "Release her. Take me instead." Ezeji laughed. "You would trade your life for hers?" "Yes." And then silence. Then the ground shook. The palace crumbled. Ezeji's form melted into smoke. "A pure heart has broken the spell," the wind whispered. The sisters ran, the land crumbling behind them. When they reached Amuzo, Urenma fell to her knees. When Akwaugo and Urenma returned, the village erupted in joy. Dike threw the biggest feast Amuzo had ever seen. Drummers played until sunrise. Dancers twirled in colorful robes. Tables were piled with roasted yam, juicy meat, and sweet fruits. Dike hugged Akwaugo tightly. "You are my true daughter," he said. Then he turned to Urenma. "And you, I hope you have learnt your lessons." Urenma, now humbled, kissed Akwaugo's hands. "Forgive me," she wept. "I will never be jealous again." Akwaugo hugged her sister. "Remember, we are still sisters, and sisters we shall always be." From that day, Urenma's envy faded. She learned kindness, and the village prospered. And from that day, whenever someone in Amuzo acted out of jealousy, the villagers would whisper, "Beware, or the Spirit King may come for you next." The moral of the story: envy is a poison. It leads to darkness, but a pure heart, one that loves and forgives, can conquer even the strongest spirits.